Welcome to the More Business, More Life podcast. And today, my partner here on this is going to be Jovanni Casaus, and we are going to talk about all the holidays. What are we doing? Are we seeing our family? Are we not seeing our family? What are the different ways we can do it if we do need to do it with electronics, Zoom meetings, FaceTime, all that stuff? And then how do we take care of ourselves? After all this year, what's going on? Where can we find our gratitude? How can we set ourselves up for success in 2021? We're going to explore a whole bunch of different things. And how you're connected to your family, no matter what, whether you're in the same room or not. So let's discuss all of this and more right now. Jovanni, thanks for doing another podcast with me here.
Hey, it's always my pleasure.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I know here we are, some of you, depending on what holidays you're celebrating, your holidays have already started. Maybe you're just getting going. It's however you're celebrating the holidays. Jovanni and I were thinking about having a discussion about how are we dealing with the holidays right now. Start talking about compassion, love. Are we with our families? Are we not? How does that make you feel? Maybe you're celebrating because you get some more time to yourself. And, people often talk about how they dread the holidays because they have to go see their family. They feel forced or guilt to go see their family, even if they don't want to. So maybe now you're getting a free hall pass, right? Like, woo, I don't have to go. Or maybe you're the opposite and you love this time and you get to go see nieces and nephews, grandkids, your kids, and not being able to do that is affecting you. So just kind of opening that up. I don't know, what's your take on it, Jovanni? Like, how do you see like friends and even your own families, how it's affecting so far?
Yeah, it's just been an interesting year in general, right? But even around the holidays when most of the country gets together, right, to celebrate or just to be together. So we're in California and my family's in Utah, and Utah hasn't been the best with taking everything as serious as it should. So they're getting cases up, and so now I'm Hispanic. I'm half Mexican, half Spanish. My dad's side of the family is very tight knit. There's at least 2 parties a month to celebrate somebody's birthday or some kind of celebration, a minimum of like 2. And so like Christmas, even Thanksgiving actually. So start with Thanksgiving since that's we used to rent out like this it's called Camp Costopolis. It's a camp for kids with disabilities, and we'd fill out the dining hall. There's like 40-50 people, right? And then Christmas is the same thing. We have a bunch of people together, and so it's very tight knit. We even do, like, for Christmas is even more, like we make tamales, like a traditional Mexican dish. And so during the Christmas Eve, we're all like all the cousins and uncles and aunts and are together, and we're in the kitchen. People are it's like an assembly line. It's like a Ford, we got the assembly line. People are putting the masa on. We got people putting the meat. We got people rolling stuff. And then Christmas Eve at the night, then we like celebrate. We used to do gift exchange and stuff like that. And so nobody's getting together. Like, everybody's just sticking with their immediate families. If their immediate families are there, like I'm out of state, so like not even doing it with my mom and stuff like that. And so it's tough, especially we usually only go visit during the holidays, and so not being able to visit, it's like even more difficult. Even though we have the virtual stuff, it's still still not the same. And so it's tough, man. It's I love hanging out with my family. I love being around them. I have a bunch of cousins on my dad's side. I have a bunch of cousins that we're roughly the same age, and so we're all like going through similar life situations and just have similar personalities and sense of humor and stuff. So it's just fun to be around. So it's kind of a bummer not to be, but at the same time, it's, everybody's trying to stay healthy and safe and whatnot. So
Yeah, so you take the trade-offs. But yeah, that means that unless you make some changes next year, and depending on how we can travel, you might not see your family for 2 years because you might have saw them last.
Last time I saw them was last Christmas.
Yeah. So then that definitely puts some time some time apart. You know, I lived abroad, and I know you did too.
Yeah.
You know, but then there was periods where I've not seen my family for like a year, or you know, a couple, depending on the family member, even more. And being a large Italian family, my dad had 6 brothers and sisters, and then my mom had a brother and a sister, and like between all of them, so many cousins and
Yeah.
different things, and all those family gatherings. And it seems to have already, even before COVID, kind of, you know, not as many people showing up, because a lot of people moved out of state. A lot of people, we all grew up in California, so we have a lot of ex-Californians, because some of my cousins, they just didn't want to spend the money to live here any longer, and they found better life in other states. So it's kind of been divided. It's interesting as you said all that, because I was reminiscing on all of our big family gatherings and making the cannolis and all that stuff. And I know what you mean, like spend the whole day in the kitchen preparing food. And so we, you know, and I'm kind of glad my grandmother is 93 years old, and we got to make cannolis last January. So we weren't together on the holiday, but like right after she came, that was the last time I got to see her right now. But she came to our house and made cannolis. And it's, you know, it's interesting. Like even my dad, I just saw my dad for the first time in a year, and because he has you know, health issues, and so he's been more restrictive on like being around. And I've you know, we've been around different people, so we're not, you know, we've been you know, pretty good about it, but still, like I couldn't be 100%. And I guess, you know, that could have gotten more testing and saw, but it was just like everyone felt safer. So luckily we have all the video calls, you know, you're able to do video chat. So I think that helps. I guess ultimately, you know, whatever your decision is, whatever's going on, you know, I think, you know, we have to remind ourselves of using the technology. Like we've used technology for our business, you know, for, you know, still gathering, doing events, helping businesses. And we've tried to do that too. So all of our nieces and nephews on their birthday, we've done videos. I just had one of my nephew's birthday, and then I asked him, "Do you want me to play the flute, the piano, or the cajon for your birthday?" And he said all three at the same time. And I was like, "Okay, I've never done that before," but I got the cajon, sat on it, and then I was playing the piano with one hand, and I was kicking the cajon with the back of my heel a little bit just to
Nice.
get a beat. And then I had the flute. And at first it was awkward and crazy, but then after I tried for about a minute, then I actually got a little bit of a song for a minute. but we're having fun. I guess it's the whole point I'm getting at, is like using technology, and we're just, you know, using our phones to have video calls and conferencing. So I think, you know, we have to, you know, do what we have to do. And I think, you know, the thing that comes to me the most is just kindness and compassion, first and foremost to self. Because if you are unhappy or you're filled with sadness, you know, just, you know, and I guess it also brings the word vulnerability, you know, share that vulnerability, maybe like share with your family that, hey, I'm sad, I miss you. Say those things and allow yourself to have a conversation. So even if you are apart, you know, one big reminder is that we're all connected, no matter what. You know, I can't remember, it was a couple of years ago, I was, you know, taught that they found a woman with a male chromosome, and this is years ago now. I don't know how long ago this was. Maybe it was like 8 years ago, or might even be more now. I don't know, but they found this male chromosome in her, and they're like, what the heck's the deal with that? And then come to find out, she had given birth to a male baby, so she had a baby boy. And they started doing more testing because of this, and then they found that mothers that have had males, they have a male chromosome inside of themselves, and typically they find it in the heart area as well. And so it's like this whole idea of how we truly are connected. So you know how we've always said, oh, you're always connected with your family. And why are moms like super intuitive when it comes to their children over the fathers? And they were finding now that like physically a piece of their babies are inside of them. No wonder they're so
Yeah.
connected. And then they found more testing, because this spun a whole bunch of testing. They found that a chromosome from the firstborn is in the secondborn,
Yeah.
and so forth, so on. So the younger babies have a piece of their brother or sister inside of them, because it's all in the womb. So like family is truly connected. So they're having this connection. That's why we feel that connection. So and I wish I knew the study on this, but you can look it up because the other people did this. I'm just only saying what I read about. So this, like the whole statement of being connected, no matter how far, how distant you are. And part of these stories, they were talking about twin babies that were adopted and split apart across the country, even. And then they grew up the same. And there's funny stories where they found these twins. They were driving the same car, they had similar jobs, like all these things were the same, and they were apart their whole life. And that's how connected we are to our family. So I think reminding ourselves we're connected no matter if we're in the same room or not. Number one. Number two, just being compassionate and vulnerable with each other so that we can open up dialogue and use technology just like we do for our business, just like for our work. Yes, it's not the same, but technically, we had a couple of birthday things where we plugged the laptop into the big screen TV so that we could see all the family, just like I do for my speaking. When I do a speaking engagement, I put the big screen so I could see all the faces on Zoom. But we haven't done this yet. But here's an idea: bring the darn TV into the dining room and put everyone on there, and you could actually have a meal together. Why not?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying some stuff out loud that I'm thinking about,
It's like, it's funny in a way that you said it's like reverse, right? You typically don't want the TV in the dining room because nobody's paying attention to each other, just kind of doing their own thing. But now you bring it in. Yeah, I mean, that brings up a great point. We don't know really how we're gonna do the whole, like, are we just gonna call them for a little bit, just say hi, how's it going, kind of a thing, or do we do dinner with them and like, all right, everybody, we're gonna meet at this time, we'll have dinner prepared, or what? So yeah, it's 2020, if anything, has taught us how to be flexible and adapt.
It's crazy. It just brought me to think about the French Laundry restaurant, which has got some press here in California recently, if you saw any of that stuff.
I just saw that.
But they actually have a live feed, and this is from a long time ago. They even had special internet connections. So their kitchen in New York and then the kitchen in California, they actually have a live feed where the two kitchens can see each other. So they have a big screen in the kitchen, and they can see their team in the kitchen in the New York restaurant, and they can see each other.
Wow.
And so it just popped in my head when we were talking about bringing the TV to the table. Like, you can technically leave it open. And I've even had some colleagues, and I've talked to some other people, they just leave Zoom open while they're working. And, so you could have those like water cooler moments, even though you're not talking. So you have Zoom on mute and you're working away, but your colleague is right there. So you feel like you're in the office together. I've talked to a few people that have done that, so, in one way, you could, make sure you have unlimited internet before you. Yeah, but you could actually.
You broke up there. It's kind of funny. It looks like my internet.
I wonder.
Yeah, it's like as you have unlimited internet, and then it just like froze.
I wonder if it was good because my side showed you frozen.
I don't know.
I wonder how the recording is going to be, but maybe we'll just say it again just so that you can edit it. But basically, if you have unlimited internet, you could leave it open and have like a meal together or sit on the couch and chat. But just opening up those ideas, instead of just canceling everything, what if you open up those levels of communication?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, I think I try to look for the silver linings these days and in life in general, right? And I think the bigger silver lining, is I hope it's showing people to be flexible, in life, because you never know at a moment's notice some pandemic can break out, or you lost your job, or some medical thing or something crazy, right? So I don't know, like I think it was funny. It's kind of side tangent, but I was talking with my wife and we were talking about like, kind of how it's been a crazy year and everything. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, it's actually been a pretty good year. I mean, besides having to stay in home, and not be able to do certain things, But like all in all, it's been a great year. Like I don't know, just it's been a good year in so many different ways, and um, I hope people are starting to see it, and hopefully, around this time of year, people start to really show gratitude for what they have and start, um, having the love and compassion start flowing through more often. And so hopefully people are seeing that. And I think exactly right. You said, you just adapt and like, okay, we can't be there. Maybe we can't be there physically, but let's at least connect, virtually. I mean, it is, I wouldn't say as good, but it is good enough. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking for. It's good enough,
Mm.
right? Because there's just something about physical touch, right? I
Well,
mean,
yeah, we're human. We want that. I mean, from being babies all the way up, that connection to others is so important. Like that. Oh, we've talked about this on the show before, but solitary confinement is like one of the worst things for a human being. So to be able to connect with others is so important. And I agree with you, Giovanni, and I just want to second it and push it even further. Is that you know what this I've talked to so many people. 2020 has made a lot of reflection happen. We're having that time, and so many people are like, I don't know if I like what I'm doing. Maybe I should change that. I know people that have moved. They're like, they actually were at home so much. They're like, I don't like my house. I don't like where I live, and they've
yeah.
moved, which is crazy. I thought, wow, you're moving during 2020, but they're like, yeah, if I'm going to be home all the time, I don't want this house. So they were gone so much from the house that they didn't even realize they didn't like their house. Like how crazy is that? But it's not crazy because we're doing. It's like what I found as being a workaholic. You don't notice all these things until you slow down. So I think there's been a lot of slowing down that has really opened up our life. And I think I want to push on what Giovanni's saying is, find that gratitude, because gratitude is a choice. That's why our tagline is choose gratitude. It's not like, oh, there's nothing to be grateful for. I'll bet you if you sat down and you thought long enough, you'll find things to be grateful for. I mean, if you're healthy and you're breathing right now, if you have a place to live and you have food to eat, if you have a job or a business that's still providing income for you, there's so many things to be grateful for. And it's in that gratitude that allows for growth, right? Because now we can grow from this. So I think, bringing it to having compassion for yourself is just to notice all the things to be grateful for. And I love what you're saying, Jovanni. It's like in all this craziness, it feel a little bit reluctant to say, wow, it's been a great year. I've been learning Italian, and I looked up, everything is great. And in Italian, you say, è tutto fantastico. And I love that. It makes you smile. Fantastico. Like, how can you not say, è tutto fantastico? And, that's what I want to say again and again. È tutto fantastico. Like, right. Everything is great if we choose to allow it to be. And yes, it's totally different. I did not think 2021 or 2020 is going to be this way. And it has been, and you're absolutely correct. It's been a tremendous year of growth, and I do believe that my life, my family has learned from it, my business has learned from it, And so, just maybe a suggestion: open up a journal. If you don't have a journal, if you don't journal, then get something to write with and just start writing down all the things you're grateful for from this year. And this is a time to reflect. The winter solstice is when we start to do this. And usually, like every year, you can look that up. Every year is around the 21st, 22nd, right around this week that you're listening to this podcast. And it's a time where it's the shortest day of the year. That's technically what the winter solstice is. It's the shortest day of the year. The sun is up the least. And, in this time, traditionally, was a time to reflect. The sun's going down. It's time to work less. It's time to be home with your families and to, reflect. And so, use this time as a time to reflect. And we started, you might have seen on our social media, that we start thanks to Leticia Reyes. We put together this gratitude jar, and we've done a lot of gratitude, but everyone put their gratitude. So on that day, we're opening all of the gratitude and from the year. And so we're just going to sit there and read all the things from this year that we were grateful for and just remember. So we put little notes to ourselves every week. Everyone in the house put a little note of what they're grateful for, and then we're going to reveal that. So just some ideas for you to find that gratitude, to find that compassion. And then just really last thing for me, and I don't know if you want to add anything to this, Jovanni, but it's like, be kind to yourself right now. Love yourself, take care of you. And even if you are going to be with yourself this year, you're not going to be with family, then find time to write a gratitude journal, like write a letter to yourself, all the things that you're grateful for 2020, and then turn and look for what you want to move forward. What
Well
would you
said.
like?
Yeah.
What would you like? Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. And I hope all of you will do the same, and find conclusion to this year, and then look for what you would like for 2021 and start setting your eyes towards that. Yeah. Beautiful. Did you want to add anything to that, Jovanni?
No, man, that was poetry in motion right there.
It just, I don't know if I would exactly say that, but I appreciate those. I appreciate those kind words, but it does just, it just comes to what is most important. So I wish everyone happy holidays. Enjoy yourself with the family that you can be around. And again, just enjoy the time with yourself and find your gratitude. And we'll be back on with another podcast next week. And we'll hope to have you listen in at that point. Thank you so much for listening in this year in 2020, and appreciate all of you as well being listeners of our show. Thanks. And thanks, Jovanni, for being a part of all this. Appreciate you as well. Thanks for listening to the More Business, More Life podcast. I hope you got value. And if you did, we have so many more things for you at stevenapolitan.com. You'll be able to connect with us on social media. We are active. You can ask us questions. And then on top of that, I want to give you a really big gift. And it truly is. We want to give so much value. We have an offering. It's a program called Clear Path to Customers. It's the same way that we attract wow clients and only working with the right people, the people we want to. And it's transformed my business into millions more in revenue with the right people and my clients. And we're doing it absolutely free. So you can go to stevenapolitan.com and grab that. You just got to put in your information. We'll send it to you promptly. And that again is on stevenapolitan.com. I look forward to having you on the next show. Until then, remember, choose gratitude and create freedom.